The most mysterious disappearance in American legal history. Judge Joseph Force Crater. On August 6, 1930, in the heart of bustling Manhattan, a New York State Supreme Court justice walked out of a restaurant after dining with friends. He waved goodbye, then vanished without a trace. No body, no suicide note, no credible witnesses. To this day, nearly a century later, the disappearance of Joseph Force Crater remains one of the most famous mysteries in American history. A powerful yet secretive judge. Joseph Force Crater was born in 1889 in Pennsylvania. After graduating with a law degree, he quickly built a career in New York and established close ties with Tammany Hall, a highly powerful political organization. In April 1930, at just 41 years old, he was appointed as a New York State Supreme Court justice. This was during the Great Depression, an era when New York politics was notorious for corruption, buying political offices, and deep connections between politicians and the mob. Just a few months after taking office, Joseph Force Crater vanished. The last day of the judge. A strange phone call. In early August 1930, Crater was vacationing with his wife in Maine. He unexpectedly received a phone call. No one knew who the caller was. Immediately after the call, he rushed back to New York, telling his wife that he was just tending to some business for a few days and would return to celebrate her birthday. That was the last time they ever saw each other. Baffling actions. On August 6th, Crater made a series of moves that would later catch the intense scrutiny of investigators. He withdrew over $5,000 in cash, equivalent to hundreds of thousands of dollars today, had his secretary exchange it into large denominations, took 2 locked briefcases back to his apartment, was spotted destroying numerous documents in his office, cleaned out his personal safe. Neither the money nor the 2 briefcases were ever found. The final dinner. That evening, Crater dined with attorney William Klein and actress Sally Lou Ritz. He had also bought a ticket to a Broadway comedy. Around 9 p.m., the three left the restaurant. That is where history begins to blur. Some accounts claim Crater got into a taxi. Other testimonies suggest he walked toward the theater. Whichever the case, he was never seen again. An unprecedented investigation. Initially, no one reported it to the police. His wife believed that her husband was simply tied up with work. It was not until nearly a month later, when Crater failed to show up in court, that the police officially opened an investigation. The precious window of time to gather evidence had already passed. Thousands of people claimed to have seen the judge. He was reported to have appeared on a train, in Mexico, in Cuba, in a monastery. Some even said he had amnesia. Not a single lead was ever verified. Secrets gradually revealed. As the investigation went deeper, police discovered that Crater was far from the model judge his public image suggested. He had affairs with multiple showgirls, unaccounted for funds, connections to figures in political scandals, numerous friends in New York's power circles. Notably, the very day Crater vanished coincided with the exact moment investigators began looking into a political office buying scandal involving judges and his political allies. This led many to suspect that he held documents that could jeopardize several powerful figures. The mysterious appearance of a letter. A few months after Crater's disappearance, his wife unexpectedly discovered an envelope in their apartment containing 1. Thousands of dollars in cash. 2. Financial documents. 3. Insurance policies. 4. A will. 5. A short, handwritten note. Bizarrely, the apartment had already been searched multiple times by the police. No one could explain how these documents got there. The leading theories. 1. Murdered to silence him. This is the most popular theory. The arguments. Crater knew too much about corruption. He destroyed documents before disappearing. He withdrew cash as if preparing for an important meeting. There was no sign that he was building a new life. Many modern researchers believe that the possibility of him being murdered to silence him is highly plausible, though there is no direct evidence to confirm it. 2. Staging his own disappearance. Some believe that Crater knew he was about to be investigated. He might have destroyed documents, withdrawn cash, prepared his assets, then fled under a different identity. However, this theory has major flaws, as there are no financial transactions, correspondence, or reliable traces to suggest he ever started a new life. 3. Eliminated by the mob. In 1930s New York, criminal gangs held massive influence over politics and business. If Crater was indeed involved in financial dealings or held secrets belonging to these organizations, many believe it is entirely possible that he was eliminated and his body disposed of. However, there is no forensic evidence to confirm this theory. 4. Confessions, decades later. Over the following decades, numerous people claimed to know the truth. Most notable was a letter made public in 2005, which claimed that Crater had been murdered and buried beneath the area that later became the New York Aquarium. Police looked into this information, but found no validating evidence. Researchers also agree that this is not the final answer. The cultural legacy. The disappearance shocked the nation to the point that the name Judge Crater became synonymous with vanishing without a trace. For years, Americans even used the phrase "Pola Crater" to describe someone suddenly disappearing. Comedians, television shows, and the press at the time frequently referenced him as an icon of unsolved mysteries. Conclusion. After nearly 100 years, the disappearance of Joseph Force Crater remains an open case. What makes this case extraordinary is not just the vanishing of a judge in the heart of New York, but that every detail hints at a much larger picture. Political corruption, destroyed documents, missing cash, and shady relationships. To date, no theory has been definitively proven. Based on recently released documents, many researchers lean toward the possibility that Crater fell victim to a murder linked to networks of power and corruption. But that remains a compelling conclusion rather than a confirmed truth.